I'll never forget the time one year when I was studying chiropractic at university when one of my fellow students asked the lecturer up the front of the room, "What's the best chair we can sit on?" And he said, "Choose the worst seat in the house. That way you'll be less likely to sit on it." G'day, how he's going? Now this is the HAG Capisco chair. It's a Scandinavian design, so it's always going to look good, but it's really functional, and this is what I think is one of the best office chairs going around. You'll see the seat is sort of like this hard plasticky surface, but you can get ones that have a more cushiony surface. The reason why this one's so good though is the depth of the seat is quite shallow. It's got these cutaways to allow your thighs to sort of drop down so that your knees are lower than your hips when you sit, and that's the key thing. Your knees have got to be lower than your hips when you sit. So this is what I'm talking about. When I sit into my chair, you can see quite clearly here that my knees are lower than my hips. And this is important because if we think of our pelvis like a bucket filled with water, if I slouch in my seat like that, the water's going to spill out over the back. So you want to always keep your pelvis upright, and you can only do that efficiently throughout the day if your knees are lower than your hips. If I come down too low and my knees are up in this position, I can still keep my pelvis upright, but I'm having to activate my hip flexors throughout the day, which becomes tiring, and then I'll end up slouchy, and that's a no-go. Now let's have a look at the chair that I'm always sitting on. This is the Salli Sway. It's a saddle seat, and they call it that because it looks like a saddle. You can see here on this saddle seat that my knees are very clearly lower than my hips, and you can see how straight my back is, and this requires very minimal effort for me to sit well. I can slouch. You can slouch on anything, a Swiss ball, a saddle seat, a good chair, a bad chair. The point is that we want to try and remain like this for as long as we can throughout the day. And on a saddle seat, you're not going to find anything better. If we just have another look at this seat here, you can see the contour of the seat allows your butt to sort of sit on there, and then your legs can drift off to the side there. And you know, if you're a man, anything that's important to you in life can sort of rest comfortably in between those two sections of the seat. Now have a look at this seat. It's a good looking chair, I've got to tell you that. I really like this chair, but if I'm being honest, it's crap. When I come to sit on it, I mean, I'm too big for it. Look at my knees, you can see they're pointing up. It's like I'm in a car seat, which is another usually bad seat for you to sit in, but you can tell that my back is rounded in this chair. Now I can sit up straight and sit up well, but look what I have to do. I sort of put my feet underneath me and I'm trying to lift out. Now this backrest is doing bugger all, and it's only a matter of time before my hip flexors get really tight and I go back into this position. So, in summing up, 3 things you can do to ensure that you're sitting well. The first thing is sit as if you are riding a horse. Remember, your pelvis is like a bucket of water, and if you're sitting like you're riding a horse, you won't spill any of it out the back or out the front. The second thing is try not to sit in any posture, be it good or bad, for 15 minutes. Now this might sound counterintuitive. You might ask, if I sit like I'm riding a horse, isn't this good for me? If I sit like that all day? The answer is no. It doesn't matter what position you sit in, if it's beyond 15 minutes, you're going to develop creep stress in your tissues. And what that means is your tissues start to change, and this is where your posture can be a problem. Whatever position you're sitting in, after 15 minutes, change it, sit some other way. And then the final thing is, when it comes to sitting, remember, you have to move often. You can jiggle in your seat. Often I get people to draw circles in both directions. You might sit up straight, slouch, sit up straight, slouch. You might shake your shoulders around or stand up and do some star jumps. Whatever it is, like I've always said, it doesn't matter what direction, just keep moving. If you move often, you will exercise healthy movement into all of these joints. You'll avoid compressive stress and a whole host of other issues that will affect your spine. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, thanks mate, good on you.